Hey guys, all right, here we go. Last lesson this week. You guys done it again. All right, so lesson 112, we're multiplying and dividing integers. This is not really new information. You guys have learned this before, but it's always important to review this. I feel like students so easily get this mixed up with adding and subtracting integers. The rules are different here, okay? So be very careful. Remember, with adding and subtracting integers, our rule is if they're the same signs, you add and you keep the sign. If they're different signs, you subtract and take the sign of the bigger number, okay? For some reason, that bigger number part really sticks in kids' heads, and so they think that it applies here with multiplying and dividing. But we're going to see that's not the case, okay? So let's look at our different possibilities. So whenever we are multiplying and dividing integers, there are three different possibilities that we could see. We'll start with the most basic and most easy to understand, really. So we could have a positive number like positive 3 times another positive number like positive 4. Well, this is what you've been doing since you very first started learning how to multiply numbers. You only worked with positives. So this should be a no-brainer. This is definitely nothing new. This is about as classic as it gets for you guys. Positive times a positive is always going to give you a positive, okay? That's definitely no new information. But it's important for us to reiterate that because it helps us better understand the newer stuff that's still not new to y'all, but it's the newer part that, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to. So now let's see what happens when we have a positive, like positive 3, times a negative, like negative 4. Okay, so what this means is it means we're basically adding 3 negative 4s. Okay, so like negative 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4. Well, that's just getting more negatives, just like the rule that we just talked about, where they're the same signs, you add and you keep the sign. So that's going to end up giving you a negative 12. That's going to be true anytime you multiply a positive by a negative or a negative by a positive. The order does not matter here, okay? So I could flip-flop this around if I wanted to, and I could instead make it negative 3 times positive 4. That would end up giving me the exact same thing, negative 12. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Oops, excuse me, sorry. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I don't know why it does that sometimes. Sorry, guys. Just ignore that weird line. So those are interchangeable. Okay, same thing. All right, so now let's look at what happens when we have a negative times a negative. Okay, so now if a negative times a positive gives us a negative, then a negative times a negative would have to be the opposite. And always think about negatives cancel each other out, okay? When we're adding 2 negatives, we're getting more negative. But when we're multiplying 2 negatives, we are always going to end up with a positive, okay? So negative 3 times negative 4 would actually give us a positive 12, okay? So I want you to notice here that up here, when we did positive times positive, our signs were the same. Down here, when we do negative times negative, our signs are the same. Both answers result in a positive, okay? So we could make some rules over here real quick, and we could say that same signs are going to give us a positive result. So same signs in multiplication and division mean that you're going to get a positive answer, okay? Different signs, like what we saw in the middle, those are always going to give us a negative answer. So our rules here are actually a little simpler than the rules that we use for adding and subtracting, okay? A little bit simpler, but you just have to remember that they're a little different, okay? So let's do a little practice on this. All right, so if we've got positive 8 times positive 4, we talked about that's basic, right? Original multiplication. So that's definitely going to be positive 32. Positive 8 times negative 4, those are different signs, so my answer is going to be negative. The number does not change, only the sign. C shows me negative 8 times positive 4. different signs again. So that's still going to be negative. Same number, does not change. Only the signs. D is negative times a negative. So if negative times a positive gave me a negative, negative times a negative has to give me a positive. So again, same signs, our answer is positive. Same signs, our answer is positive. Okay? The same rules apply to division. So if we divide a positive by a positive, we're going to end up with a positive. Positive divided by negative, different signs, we're going to end up with a negative. Negative divided by a positive, again, different signs, we're going to end up with a negative. Negative divided by a negative, same signs. So we once again end up with a positive. Okay? Hope these rules are helpful to you guys. Write them down, okay? Write them on a Post-it, stick it on your mirror, under your pillow, sleep with it, recite it as you go to bed. I'm just kidding. But make sure you know it really well, okay? These are important rules, and once you've got them, once you practice them enough and you've got them in there, like, we want them stuck. We don't want them going anywhere, okay? You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Happy homework.